Hey, what's up, guys? So while I was doing some digging today, I learned something that I didn't know about before, and I think I'm going to start this video off with this. It's been a little while since we've done this, so we'll go take a look here. This is the Chicago Sunday Tribune, May 31st, 1908, and there's all sorts of interesting things here. Two ways of getting Sunday recreation: the incorrect method and the correct method, which involves the man just sort of sitting around all day long and going to gamble with his friends, and then or going to the coffee shop to gamble with his friends, and then going at night to the bar to gamble with his friends, and here he is instead spending time with his family. So there you go. That's a pretty nice thing to see. May 31st, 1908, but we'll go a little bit further here into this. Here's the Memorial Day Parade from 1908. Always good to look at. We go ahead and we'll flip through this until we get to the interesting part. So we go over here to through all the foreign news and all the boring historical stuff. We can look at the ad for this car. You got $1,400 for this Cadillac. I think I've seen this car in a museum actually around here. We've been to a couple of museums that show old cars. There you go, 1908 Cadillac. Wouldn't you like one of those horseless carriages? But this is what we really want, the third part, sporting. And the part that I discovered here is over here. So we go zoom in on this. They're talking about the doubleheader that the world champions Cubs played against the Cardinals. Notice that in this replay, the Giants were actually in third. Philadelphia was in second, and in this replay in real life, and the Chicago was on top, mostly because they won this doubleheader. So much different from my replay. But when you look through this, so overall, the pitcher, Orville Overall, was injured, and he collapsed after having a ball hit back to him and throwing to first. At first, it was thought the ball had hit him near the solar plexus and that he would be all right in a few hours, but developed that in twisting himself to stop the force of the ball. Orvie strained a muscle or ligament in his back over the kidneys. He had to be taken to the hotel in a cab, and although he was able to leave for Chicago tonight with the team, he will be incapacitated for several days, it is feared. Now, that's actually not the part that I was really interested in, because my list of transactions for 1908 include this injury to Overall. The part that it didn't include, however, was this. With Jay Evers laid out yesterday, Scheckert nursing a lame side, and Hoffman a bad knee, and blah, blah, blah. Heine Zimmerman played second base the first time for the Cubs, and so on and so forth. It was that injury to Evers I didn't know about. Took another look, and it turns out that Evers missed both games this doubleheader and then missed both games the next day. Now, what we can do with the Chicago Tribune is interesting. We can go back to the next day and see if we can find that sports section. Let's see what we can find out here. I'll try to go a little bit slower to not completely get everybody lost. And now we're going to have to go, I think, a little bit further forward here in the paper. And here we go. It's going to be right here on page 6, and it's on page 6 here that we can read all about the injury to Evers. See if we can find it mentioned anywhere, and it might be here in the notes of the game. When Barry stole second in the first round, he smashed into Evers in a close play, and for a time it was thought John was spiked, but only his shoe was cut. The Trojan was limping from the effects tonight. Evers stayed in that ball game, did not come out, and he ended up missing 4 games afterwards because of it. That shows you kind of how tough these guys were back then. You might be wondering, given what the title of this video is, why in the world I talk about this. What we really want to talk about today is how you make your replay interesting and how you make it fun. I was thinking about this actually just earlier today, because as much as I've told myself, you know, I don't want to have a replay where I have to play something. I want to sort of play on my own time, not feel any pressure and stuff. I mean, it's going to come one way or another, and I want to, you know, be part of it. I want to, you know, read more about it. I want to learn more about it. You want to spend more time with it, right? It's hard to find that balance between the fun and the real life, and I think we all struggle with that. But the real question is, how do you make it alive and how do you make it fun? And I'm telling you, it's stuff like this that helps the most. It's being able to look at the old newspaper, being able to read the old articles, looking at some of the cartoons that were in the sports section for of papers like the Chicago Sunday Tribune, and sort of feeling like you really are a part of the past and that replay is coming alive. For me, that's the thing that makes it really good. That's the thing that helps get that replay going and helps you stay away from feeling bored or feeling like it's a job of some sort, right? For me, that's really the part that's the most fascinating. That's the part that I'm most interested in. And so, in my opinion, if you're looking to how to make your replay fun, the best thing to do is to spend some time making it come alive. Spend some time back in the era. Read the books from that era, right? Read original articles, read magazines, read newspapers, read anything you can from that era. Learn about the players that you play with and try your hardest not only to get immersed, but to get stuff to come to life. That's when it's going to be fascinating, and that's when you're going to be really excited because you'll be like, oh, I know these guys. I want to play more with them. I want to see what happens next. I want to know more about the story of what happened to overall. How long was he out, right? I want to know how long Evers was out. I want to know how they play afterwards. Bresnahan is out for like a week and a half for the Giants. That was also not on my transaction list, right? Doing this research and learning about this really is what helps the most. Now, I don't have anything wrong with using real-life transactions and lineups in a replay, other than the things I mentioned from time to time, but there's nothing about that that means it's totally invalid in my mind, except for the fact that a lot of people who do this don't let the replay come alive. Instead, you're just doing what they did in real life and you're saying that's good enough for me. It's not good enough for you. It's not. You need to spend time with your replay. The more time you spend with your replay, the more it comes alive and the more interesting it becomes. Because, you know, just pushing the button on the computer and generating the stats isn't going to do it. Replays are not about generating statistics. Replays are about immersing yourself in a certain storyline, in a certain world. That's kind of a world that you can kind of control, but not completely. And it's best when you make that world a reflection of reality as much as you possibly can, within reason. That's the thing that makes it impressive for me. So those are my thoughts here on how to make your replay actually interesting and how to make it actually fun. Love to know what you think, though. Let me know down below, and we'll talk more about it. Talk to you later. Bye.